Hey guys, so here's my process video for my first scrapbook page. Well, it's not my first scrapbook page, but it's my first process video that I'm doing. So I'm just showing you kind of the supplies that I'd planned on using. I got out that pad of paper because I'm scrapbooking a picture of my son when we went to the Evergreen State Fair, and the pad of paper is like farm themed paper, so I thought that it would be really cute, but then I kind of looked at it and I don't know, I thought maybe the colors were maybe just a little too bright because I'm using a lot of bright colors and I didn't want all like, bright blues and bright reds and bright yellows. So I ended up using the Maggie Holmes Bloom paper, that blue paper from there. And I just pulled one piece of paper from that pad, which is that red checked paper, because I just didn't want it to be kind of that overly bright, although the whole layout ends up being really bright, so I really don't know what I'm talking about right now. But anyways, my plan for this, because I had done so many layouts in the last couple weeks where I did the title in stitching, I decided to do the background in stitching instead. So I decided to do cow spots because when we went to the fair, my son was most obsessed with the cows. It's his favorite thing that we saw the whole time we were there, and we had to go back to the cow barn multiple times just to see the cows. So I decided to do cow spots, and you might be thinking, but why are you tracing cow spots? They're not that hard to just freehand and draw. But I had originally planned on cutting out pieces of the pattern paper and laying them in the spots, in some of the spots, but I don't end up doing that. But originally that was the plan, so I wanted to have the spots match so I could just trace them and cut them out from the paper and then put them in the spots that they fit into. So here I am taking my piercing tool. This is just an awl, I think is what my mom calls it. I don't know, I stole it from her sewing stash, but it's just to pierce holes in the paper so it makes the sewing a lot, or the hand stitching a lot easier. So I'm just poking holes in all of these spots right now. And then I went and watched some Gilmore Girls because we're catching up on that, me and my husband. He's never seen Gilmore Girls, and I didn't want him interrupting me the whole time the new ones came out. So I'm making him watch the entire series, so there's no questions when the new episodes come out. So he won't interrupt me during that. So I stitched all of those spots there, and then now I'm just layering up my photo. So I decided to layer it with some tissue paper first, and then do some pattern paper underneath it. I didn't want it to be so bright, because the background ends up being really busy, and I think, well, the whole thing kind of ends up a little busy, but I just didn't want the red to be like so in your face. So I did the tissue paper first, and then just putting some foam tape there, and then putting the picture on the pattern paper here. I don't know about you guys, but I do not trust myself to cut a straight line with scissors. So you will rarely see me cut with scissors because it never goes well. So here I am just layering some more. I don't end up gluing everything down right away. I just wanted to kind of play around and see what I liked. I thought at first that I really liked that piece of paper, that kind of newsprinty paper, because like I said, I didn't want it to be so busy, and I thought that the black and white would kind of tone down it so it wouldn't be so, I don't know, primary color-ish, but I didn't end up using any of that color or any of that paper, so yeah, that just kind of went out the wayside there. I do, however, use more than a tiny little strip of this Bloom paper. The Bloom collection is my absolute favorite right now. So it doesn't surprise me that I had to include some of that collection in this layout as well. I thought that I was going to use some of that yellow as well. Even though it's a little bright, I thought that it would be a nice pop of color. And I had, a couple other pieces that I thought I was going to use, and I didn't end up really using a lot of what I pulled. This little frame is actually, probably just like a little toss away piece from a chipboard that I had gotten recently. I got, when My Mind's Eye had a flash sale online, I ended up getting both of their really good deals, and they were just kind of like a grab bag of stuff, and there was a lot of chipboard pieces in that. So that frame thing is just from that, but to me, it's not something you'd actually put on a picture, but I liked that it was a kind of a good layering piece to put behind the picture because it adds dimension, and it's kind of that solid white and black. I love tickets. Let's just talk about the tickets for a minute. I use tickets in pretty much, well, not all of my layouts, but I love using tickets as layering. And these red ones I got, I don't know, just like Fred Meyer or something, but it's like this huge roll of tickets. Like, I will never in my lifetime use the amount of tickets that I have here, but I love them. And for a layout where we're at the fair, they're kind of perfect. The yellow tickets are from, I think, a crate paper that I just fussy cut out. And so I have a bunch of those. They're a bunch of different colors and stuff, but the yellow I thought would be a nice touch. And I kind of wanted to go, at first I thought that I wanted to have all my layering kind of be on the upper right hand corner, since I had all of the spots kind of on that left side of the paper. But then I just kind of liked how they looked down at the bottom, so I did a lot of my layering kind of at the bottom left hand corner and the top right hand corner of the picture. And I'm just kind of fussing around trying to figure out what papers I wanted to use. Those little taggy things that I have my hand right there, I use a couple of those. Those I fussy cut out of another paper. I'm not very good at remembering what paper collections I use these from, so I wouldn't get your hopes up that you're actually going to hear where I get these things, because they're just kind of in my stash, and I just kind of pull out what colors I think would look good with the picture that I'm doing. All the wood veneer pieces are all from My Mind's Eye. Again, that's just from that kind of grab bag of stuff that I got. I wanted to kind of, since I had a wood veneer at the bottom, I kind of wanted to bring one up top, like a piece of yellow at the bottom, so I wanted some yellow at top, the black and white at the top, so I bring that over to the left-hand side. So I kind of wanted to balance it out with the colors. I thought I would use that chipboard smile piece, just because it was black and white, and I thought it would look kind of cute, but I don't end up using that at all. That little red piece says, "This is my happy place," and I thought that was cute just because it was a really happy day. Even though my son's not smiling in the picture, he's eating a scone, so you know he's happy, because who's not happy when they're eating a scone? So I just set those all aside. I had taken a picture on my iPhone, taken a picture of how everything was layered, and then later on I had layered it back to almost exactly how it was, but not quite. Here I am attempting to watercolor. If you watched my previous video, you'll see that I had just got these watercolors, and I've never been a mixed media person. I've never been a watercolorer. So I knew kind of the look I wanted to go, wanted for the spots, but I don't know how to get that look. So what I got is what I got. And I think it's just going to take practice with the whole painting thing. But I decided to do some blue spots and some red spots and some yellow spots to kind of bring in those colors that I had layered around the picture. And then I didn't really like just the look of the colors, so I decided to do some black spots because then it actually looks like there are cow spots and not just spots. So I did some black spots as well. And again, it wasn't exactly the look I wanted when I did it, but I think that it's just going to take me a little bit of practice to get to where I want to be as far as watercoloring. I'm just not very artsy. I do, however, love like splashy and stuff like that, like doing the like splatter spots. I think that looks amazing on everything. So here is my like layered product. You see I moved things a little bit, like the little red, this is my happy place. I moved to the side, moved everything down a little bit there. I changed out the ampersand for this smile, this wood veneer that says smile, and then I had a couple of little buttons that are little chipboard buttons that I just put down there as well. So there's like a gray one and then put another red one on there. And then I'm just going to layer or put on the back some of the foam adhesive again to kind of pop it up off the page. So that's just what I'm doing here. And I'm going to keep it kind of right where you saw it at the beginning, kind of towards, kind of right there is where it'll end up being. I had pulled out these thickers. I do not have a lot of thickers, and I really need to get more. But I pulled out these, and I was like, oh, these will work if I paint them. So I put them down on some wax paper and kind of deciding what my title is going to be. Like I said, the title ends up being Cows, a Scone, and Cows. Just to kind of emphasize the fact that we saw the cows a lot, and that was his favorite part of the fair. So I put all these down, spelling out the word. And then I ended up going out to my garage and spray painting these. I wanted them white, because I didn't want them to stand out too much. Like I said, that, the background is just so busy that I just didn't want more, like, I don't know, I didn't want that harsh, like, black, like, wording right on the page, and the thickers are kind of big, so I didn't really want that. So I wanted to paint them white, but I did not have white spray paint, so I ended up going with black, and then I didn't like how it looked at all, so I didn't end up using them at all. So I was going to do the thickers and then do the ampersand as the and part of it. But I don't know, I couldn't really figure out where I wanted to put it, and so I was kind of fussing with that a little bit, and then I think I ended up just being like, oh, I'll figure out where I'm going to put it after I paint it. So I went and painted it, and then I decided, nope, didn't want that at all. So then I remember that I was originally going to use these ones, these alphas, which at first I thought they were too small, but I think looking back on it, I think that they're a fine size because I think the other ones would have kind of just taken over the page. The only thing I don't really like about them is that they're like a glittery black, and I wish they would have just been just kind of a solid black color. And then if you notice, my camera kind of drifted off to the right side. My son decides that he's going to help me during this last part of the video. I just wanted to get this done yesterday, and so I just did it right before my husband got home. I just finished putting on the alphas, and my son was right there, and he got on his little stool and was kind of trying to help me with the layout. So you'll see some little hands come in here in a minute. So I put the cows, a scone, and the ampersand on there, and I was like, oh, the other cows isn't going to fit on here. So then I had to pick everything up and put it back down, and all the letters got like folded in half, and it was kind of a mess. And oh, there's some little toddler hands, and he really wanted to paint, so he was showing me the colors of the paint, and I just kind of had to push it away. And we ended up painting after I got done with this. We ended up painting a little bit too. So there he is. He's pointing at his scone and telling me that that's fishy, because that's what you call him, is fishy, and that's what he calls himself. So he's telling me that's fishy. And so I'm just finishing putting on the alphas. And once I get those on there, I pretty much call that done. So I'll have some pictures here at the end to show you show you all the details. But that is it. Thanks for watching. Bye.